Good afternoon, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, October 1st, 2025, and I'm back at Damon Lane Park in Rancho, San Diego. Today, just back checking to see the spot again. Came here and did a video back in late March when I was checking out this area, and I climbed a couple of peaks near Cuyamaca College. Just trying to see what I can get into today. Check out the scene and see maybe I can get a spotlight video on something today. Maybe just try to get more plant videos in. You might have noticed I've had an ode video or two in the last month or two, and I had a couple of spotlight videos recently, so I'm trying to get back on track with that. I think the spotlight videos are the videos that seem to get the most appreciation on my channel. There's an interesting species of tamarisk. What species, I do know. But yeah, I seem to get the most interest in my spotlight and plant-oriented videos. So I'm trying to put more of those out. So I'm just going to walk along and explore, botanize of course, and then try to see if I can get some plant videos in. I believe it's already October. Just the first day today. It's a little bit on the warm side today. I think today maybe be a couple degrees above average. Then it's supposed to cool down to below average. What we got going on here? We got ooh, hello. Got a massive trunk on this red willow. Whoa, hold up. I've seen this tree before. Obviously, I've been here before, but I never noticed the trunk on this thing. The trunk on this tree is enormous. Look at that. Yeah, that's a big trunk on this red willow. Yeah, a beautiful tree too, man. Man. Okay. Wow, that's a pretty sizable tree trunk. That's a pretty big red willow. So let's see. There's a species of plant around here. I'm trying to see if it's in bloom. I'm not going to mention it in case either I can surprise you with a spotlight video or not mention it. And if I don't see it in bloom, who knows? I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to try to see if there might be a possible peak side trip. I'll have to see whether I can do it without trespassing. There's a peak along this way, up that way, but it might not be publicly accessible. The peak is 738 feet, so we'll call it Peak 738. Don't know if I'll get up to it. It's been quite a while since I've actually climbed any peaks. I would say since August, I think, was the last time I climbed any peaks. Yeah, I didn't climb any peaks in September. Let's see. You get a picture of this little gulch, and we'll see after I show you this laurel sumac here. Very handsome laurel sumac. There's a lot of red and arroyo willow here. This does get seasonal water running through here. All right, time for a couple pictures. big toy on right here too. Look at that. That's a pretty impressive specimen. That thing is huge. Whew. That's a big toy on right there. So we'll go along this, and maybe later I'll go along that and see what's over there. There might be some interesting stuff over there as well. The peak I was thinking, hold up, this big laurel sumac. Those pretty decent sized stems on it. So yeah, the peak I was thinking about visiting is up that way. But like I said, might or might not happen depending on if it's accessible. Okay, that's private property there. Let's see. Gonna have to kind of look around a little bit. Yeah, when I came here in March, it was after we only got about half of our winter rain, but it was back half of the winter, so it was very luscious and green here. Yeah, see, that's private property. I think I might be able to access it. It's the peak I wanted to visit. I don't know. It's up that way. There it is right there, peak 738. We'll see. We'll see if it even happens. Till then, time to move on and photograph this beautiful coastal sage scrub out here. Looks like some of these isocomas are already past peak. This is Isocoma menziesii variety verninoides. Looks like these ones are already past the peak. Usually I think they'd normally be going into peak season right now. A lot of them are already in seed. That's pretty interesting. Alright, so here I'm going to bear right. So I'm going to go along this trail here. Some of these other little nooks and crannies will be worth exploring on the way back to the car. So I'm parked at the very end of Calle Albarra. That was like I was the last time I was here. So there's the peak up there. Gonna need to find a use trail to get up there. Let's see. Here's a use trail here. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm looking for a specific plant. So before I head up that, I'm gonna explore a little bit around here. There's more isocoma. Trying to see if the plant that I'm trying to find for a spotlight video is blooming, and I think I see it up ahead, and it's not blooming. Dang it. Yeah, I can see some of it on that side, and there's a population on this side here. Yeah, this is the plant I was trying to catch in bloom. I think I'm a little early, actually. This is Palmer's golden bush. This is Ericameria palmeri variety palmeri. It's one of a few species of Ericameria, actually quite a few species of Ericameria we have growing here in San Diego County. I'm a little early, it looks like. I always thought these things bloomed in late summer to mid-fall, or at least an early fall. But I might have to come back in a few weeks, because they are starting to bud. Now I told you this is Ericameria palmeri variety palmeri. The variant I used to come across while hiking in Orange County and stuff like that was the other variant, which is variety Pachylopus, which is another variety of Palmer's golden bush. Now, the leaves do have an aromatic smell, and it kind of looks like a more green version of California sagebrush, to which it is related, being it is an Asteraceae, the sunflower family. But It doesn't have the sagebrush aroma. It has more of a piney type aroma, and you have to rub the leaves a little harder to get that scent. And plus, California sagebrush has a grayer color and is usually very dry this time of year, while as Palmer's golden bush is pretty much evergreen. See, it's green. This is the California sagebrush, with which it could be confused. This time of year, it's brown or very gray, and it's dormant. We don't really have that with Palmer's golden bush, and that's both variants, variety Pachylepis and variety Palmeri. All right, so I'm going to go down this a little bit more, and maybe. Ooh, there's a fence over here. This might not be good. Yeah, might not be climbing that peak. Last time I was here, I climbed 2 other peaks over just north of Cuyamaca, right near Cuyamaca College. There's a lot more of that golden bush. You also call it grasslands golden bush too. Ericameria Palmeri. Like I said, the variant here is variety Palmeri. The one I see in Orange County, and I've seen that in a few different spots, including near Blue Jay Campground, Peters Canyon Regional Park, is variety Pachylepis. Looks like it might be fenced off, but I'll go down a ways and see how if that continues to be the case or not. Now we're getting ready to hit this beautiful eucalyptus cladocalyx grove. One thing about this park is it does have a beautifully wooded area full of eucalyptus cladocalyx and an occasional blue gum. And we got some desert grape down here too. It's that vine. It's a woody vine, and woody vines are often called lianas. Interesting name. A liana is another name generally for woody-based vines. Here we are in the eucalyptus cladocalyx forest. A little patch of it here. And it just brought the temperature down nicely because it is starting to get warm out. But interestingly enough, the last time I was here, I did check out the water down. There was water down there, a lot more water, but there's still water down at the base of that gully. It's pretty interesting. Of course, no trip to Rancho, San Diego is complete without ogling and admiring that prominent mountain right there, San Miguel Mountain, which on the left side goes down towards Jamul, and the right side goes down towards Chula Vista. Pretty big and very prominent mountain in the area. Yeah, in this park there are plenty of places you can sit and kick back and relax. A lot of lizards running around too right now. There's the end of the park. So I'm going to see, once I get through this portal here, I'm going to look to see if there's a use trail skirting up that. If there is, I'm probably going to take it. There's one here that goes along the fence, but I'm not going to go on that. The peak's up there somewhere. At least got to get some kind of plant video in today. I'd like to keep the momentum going on that. Yeah, I'm looking for use trails on the side here. If there is anything, so I can get up to that peak. There might be some rock scrambling to get up there too, possibly. Over there, straight ahead with the water towers, that's Cougar Mountain. It's another small summit I hit last spring. Right over there in the center, that's Cougar Mountain. And over there is Lexington Peak, kind of behind where that small palm tree is. That's Lexington Peak, another peak I've hit in the area. Let's see, if I see a use trail on this side, I'll go ahead and try to amble up it because I don't see a fence blocking getting up there. sage grub here. Is that it? See something here. Just take a brief look at this and see. This might be it. If I can get up here, that is. See how far up this goes. Looks like a use trail. Yeah, this is it. This is my use trail, I think. Yeah, it's pretty faint. Appears to be a small use trail. Yeah, this is it. Very faint. All right. So, I think it made me for that up there. Haven't done a lot of uphill hiking lately, so probably not in the best shape in the world. But I'm gonna go ahead and get a sip of water. And first of all, that's Lexington Peak again. Right there, Lexington Peak. That was a fun hike. That was a really fun peak climb. Very faint, but it is followable. All right, I'm gonna get something to sip. I'll catch you on the next clip. All right, very short time later, near these boulders here, I'm gonna go up to them and see if that's where the summit's gonna lie. It's a very faint trail, it's very faint, but if you look carefully, it's there. Let's see. Watching out, watching the placement of my feet. These are steady or not. A little light scrambling. Watching where I put my hands and feet. Oh, there's a bee's nest over here. Oh boy. I'm gonna stay away from that as much as I can. Yeah, there's a bee's nest right there. Alright. Let's see. Whew. I get some good views up here. Alright. Let's see what route I'm going to take. Because this looks like this is going to be the crux of the climb. Gotta watch where the dirt is. Okay, let's see. Let's see what kind of route I should take. That's my borderline class 3 over here. Let's see. Okay, let me see. Let's see what the best route to get up this is. Haven't really done rock scrambling in a long time. I'm just trying to stay away from that bee's nest over there. Alright. And watch where I'm going too, for that matter. It's a little sketchy over here, but oh boy. Oh, I got my foot stuck. Okay. So far, it's just mostly awkward class 2. Probably didn't even have to do this. That's where it is over there. Thought I was almost at it. Alright. Well, I probably didn't even have to scramble these rocks. Could have gone there. Probably gone up that way. Alright. Well, it's a little unnecessary rock scrambling. Alright. I'm going to figure out my move to swing over there. Let's see. Very awkward. This was probably not even necessary. I thought the rocks were near where the summit was supposed to be. Alright. Get past this little patch here. See if I can get en route to get to the summit from here. Oh boy. Okay. I'm past that. That's it. Haven't really done this type of hiking in a while, despite the fact that I'm getting out on a regular basis. That was actually completely unnecessary. But good to get me scrambling again. Alright. See if I can find the trail and get back on it. Alright. Let me see. Might be up here. Okay. That's where I gotta go right there. Alright, see you on the next clip. So I got past that brushy section after the rock scramble. And here's a pretty good looking path here. That might even be better right there, to be honest. I gotta be careful how far I go, because it's gonna be close to people's homes, so it might be pretty quiet when I'm up there. Wow, I think I made this a little more challenging than it actually needed to be. but kind of need the experience. Get back in the groove. Small olive tree right there. Pretty neat up here. Alright. Oh, it's getting warm up here, I'll tell you. Middle of the day. Whew. Alright. See you on the next clip. Gotta catch my breath. Gotta get used to doing this again. Nice views up here, though. Getting pretty close to the peak. I can see people's landscaping over here, so I'm not gonna get too loud. Just about to summit. A lot of clematis. Southern California virgin bowers. Clematis passiflora. Those are the seeds. Alright. Almost here at the peak. Pretty views up here. Try to do this quietly. Peak 738 here in Rancho, San Diego. A small summit that I have visited. I want to visit this one for a while. Here's the high point right here. Yeah. It's pretty nice to be on the summit again. We'll go ahead and get a summit selfie after pointing out a few views. I might have to rely more on text because I don't want to be too loud. Keep walking with a spider web. Sheesh. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, summit selfie. Alright, so I'll point out a few views up here. So let's see. I'm going to start by looking south. And right there, near Chula Vista, Mother Miguel Mountain. One of these days I'm going to have to climb that one too. There's supposed to be a good trail from the park, and there are a couple other ways to get there. Of course, San Miguel Mountain, rising mightily above Spring Valley, Jamul, and Chula Vista. Now we're starting to edge a little more to the southeast, and I can see a distant ridge over there is the San Isidro mountain range with Otay Mountain crowning the top of that. That's way off in the distance. I'll zoom in briefly. Yeah, one in the haze. The closer one below it is part of the Hamul Mountains. It's one of the peaks of the Hamul Mountains. And then there's the small range with Lexington Peak as its summit right there. Did that hike back in May of 2025, May of this year. Below it is Cougar Mountain, right above the school, whose mascot is the Cougars, and that's Steel Canyon High School. I have a video for that one as well. And then there's other peaks that I hit near Lexington Peak on that same day. And there we go, off in the distance again is Cuchama, also known in Spanish as El Cuchuma, El Cuchama, and more popularly known as Tecate Peak. Never been up that one yet. And now we're looking over towards Lions Peak as we're looking more to the east and east-southeast. It's that big sugarloaf shaped lump off in the background. You know, I point that one out a lot. And there's the small McGinty mountain range right there. Now I think, yeah, I'm trying to see which one is the high point, but there's a lower summit that's hikeable, and that's also often just called McGinty Mountain. However, the highest point is not that peak, that 2,183 foot peak. The actual high point is 2,305 or 2,306 feet, and it's on private property. And they just call it McGinty Mountain High Point. So we're going to swing it east-northeast, and there are a couple peaks I think are off limits to the public. That rocky one there is Dehesa Benchmark at 1,903 feet. And that's peak 1783, which is right near it. And that one on the haze is Viejas Mountain. Northeast, you see big bad El Cajon Mountain. North, Rancho San Diego neighborhood. Northwest, we got good old Mount Helix right there. Over La Mesa, Casa de Oro. Looking west, and now southwest towards Dictionary Hill and Spring Valley. So, yeah, pretty good views up here. Pretty nice summit. So I'm going to take a few summit shots up here before I start working my way down, which is going to be slightly different. I'm going to try to avoid having to go through that rocky section again. I do have a few addenda, because there are a couple other peaks in this area that I've also climbed. Now, the last time I was at Damon Lane Park, I went along, got on Weighorst, then went on Fury Lane. That's Fury Lane right there. And I went through that little section of open space near Cuyamaca College, just right over there. So what I did is I hiked up to that peak right there, that small hill right there. That's Hill 720. This is approximately 720 in elevation, and also did that small peak that's about 580 feet right there, right before this apartment complex. So that was the last time I was out at Damon Lane Park. That was my goal for that hike. This time I thought maybe try to get a spotlight video in, which is probably not going to happen with that species of plant I pointed out, the grassland, aka Palmer Golden Bush. So probably in a couple weeks I'll come back, because that's the only population I know about right now. There's got to be others. There are going to be others here in San Diego County, but that's the one I know about. It's really close to my house. So it's pretty much a no-brainer that I would film a spotlight video on that plant over there. Now, what I think I'm going to do is start edging down this trail. I'm going to definitely try to stay away from that real rocky outcrop, because since it is still pretty warm outside, I ran a pretty good risk of encountering a rattlesnake. Alright, well, pretty happy. I finally made it up to a summit. It's not a really hard hike to get up here. Just I'm a little out of shape, so because I haven't been doing major peak climbs in recent history. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work my way back towards that plateau right there below the summit quietly, and I'm gonna start down climbing. Now let's see. I'm gonna follow this trail here. There's some pretty decent views up on this peak. I'm gonna get a few pictures of the peak area again. Alright, so I'm back on the plateau. There's the peak just up there. So now I'm going to follow this. Here's some more broom matchweed right here, some Gutierrezi Cyrothri. Still blooming, but it looks like it's past its peak now. I'm really hoping to get a good spotlight video on that plant too. Maybe I'll find some spots where it's still pretty much in bloom. It's going to be a hard spotlight to film because the plant's details are so tiny. It's going to be hard to get a really good spotlight video on it. Here's a type of plant called golden thread or dodder, D-O-D-D-E-R. It's in bloom, and it's covered in this laurel sumac. Dodder in the genus Cuscuta. It's a parasitic plant. Its roots tap into, or its shoots, it gets attached to the stems and plant parts of a host plant from which it takes nutrients. And if I remember correctly, it's a hollow parasite or a fully parasitic plant. Sometimes it's listed as being in the morning glory family, the Convolvulaceae, and sometimes it's listed as being a member of its own family, the Cuscutaceae. There's a handsome laurel sumac adorning this pretty toasty slope here. Yeah, when I got up to the peak, there was a really nice breeze up there. It felt really nice. So let's see. Let me follow this and see where this goes. Maybe a better option than trying to go over those boulders. I don't feel like going downhill with those boulders. Pretty cool little hike. It's a little adventure that probably doesn't receive much attention out here. So, some more of this hillside, some more of the south-facing slope. I came up more of an east-facing slope to get up here. Just trying to see where this use trail will lead. Or this is actually a little bit better to find. Yeah, I think that's where I scrambled right there. It looks like the real sketchy rocky section right there. I mean, it's not that horribly bad, but if you're really trying to keep a lookout for snakes, you got to kind of focus on making sure you don't go over a snake, and also make sure you don't trip over the really sharp edges on some of those rocks. But yeah, that's where I scrambled to get up. Yeah, I just want to see where this trail is going to lead. I'm kind of curious. Pretty sure it'll lead down to Probably white horse, maybe? I don't know. But I will explore it a little bit. Here's an interesting prickly pear. I think this is a hybrid between a native, probably a Puntia littoralis, and a non-native Ficus indica. I'm going to assume. Those pads are a lot larger than you expect on a Puntia littoralis. There's some more of it here. I'm pretty sure these are hybrids between native and non-native prickly pears. All right. This is pretty interesting. All right, well, I'm going to keep dipping down this, and I'll keep you posted on where I end up exiting the hill. Okay, I think I come to a fork in the trail. I have a feeling this would lead me down towards Damon Lane Park. Might end up going on that one. I'm just going to check out this little rocky spot here and see what's good. Yeah, look at this little rocky outcrop up here. Interesting. There's a trail that came. There's the plateau. There's the rocky outcropping from earlier. Just a quick little easy class 2, very easy. Barely even class 2 to be honest. There's a breeze up here. Sorry if it's getting on the camera. Feels nice. It's coming in from the west too, so it's coming on shore. We're supposed to get some cooler than average weather coming up pretty soon. The next, say, Friday into the weekend, it's supposed to be a little bit significantly cooler than average, which is nice. I've always been curious about this little hill here, but I'm not sure if that's actually accessible. It looks like part of San Diego National Wildlife Refuge land to get up to this small bump here. But yeah, all those bushes, I think those are all olive trees. I've looked at the imagery and I've walked along White Horse before to get back to the park. I walked around there just to kind of scope it out to see if it was climbable. I'm not sure if you can actually go in there, but there are looks like a series of trails that lead up towards that little small summit mound. But I don't think I'm going to go any more beyond this because it looks like it's trailless, and I'm not trying to. There's too many trails up here. But this is a pretty cool little spot here. Get a few pictures of this area, and I'm going to start heading on another trail. Heading down. There's a trail going this way. It might take me down towards the park. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the rocks. I'm going to go on this trail here. Let's see if this leads down towards the park, or at least the green belt before the park. Let's see. faint over here, but it looks pretty followable still. Just want to see if this is going to lead down towards the green belt down there. Seems to be ambling underneath the rocks right there. Just seems to be ambling just underneath the top of this rock mound that I just visited. Let's see if this just leads down to the road, maybe. Let's see. Well, maybe I'll have to follow a drainage gully or something. Let's see. Oh, maybe not. I think I'm a little off the path now. Oh, maybe. Yeah, I think I'm a little off route right now. Well, I know I'm pretty close to the trail. Hey. Yeah, I wasn't trying to get off the trail too much here. I might have to just continue. I have to do a little light bushwhacking. I mean, this isn't chaparral, but it can sometimes get a little dicey. Got a little off route on this one. Probably should have just went the way I came. I'm almost back at the park anyways. Or at least the green belt. I mean, this isn't bad. This is not nearly as bad as I've done before, believe me. I've done a lot worse bushwhacking than this. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not really trying to bushwhack, but like I said, I got a little off route. For the easiest route to get down this hill here. Sure didn't mean for this to happen. Oh well. Oopsies. I should be back down in less than 2 minutes. I'm just trying to do this quite carefully. Maybe go for this weed patch here. so I can avoid all the bushwhacking. You'll be smelling like sage brush the rest of the day. It's all good because it's a good smell. I'm back. An interesting little adventure. A little bit more than I thought it was going to be. That's all good. It'll be kind of interesting to trace that out on a map. I didn't mean to go off trail, but when I saw that, I just figured I'd just slide my way down. Alright, see you on the next clip. I was putting out the Coast Golden Bushes further back, the Isokoma Menziesii. Well, we got some here that are in full bloom now. This one appears to be variety Menziesii, Isokoma Menziesii, variety Menziesii, in full bloom. Late September to mid-October is when you can really expect this plant to be lit up something fierce. It is one of our coolest sunflower family plants. And there was the false summit right up there. That's a false peak right there. That's not the summit. All right. I think that was the only way up and down. I thought I was going to make a loop out of this, the way that trail was going. I was thinking, I could make a loop out of this. Well, I did. Just ended up with some unnecessary ambling, if you know what I mean. There's another pathway coming out of there. I think I'm gonna go to that shady woodland, cool off a little bit after that. Wow, look at this laurel sumac. Wow, it creates its own shady ecosystem. That is so nice. All right. Yeah, I entered over here. Entered right around here somewhere. Right by that first house there. That might have been it right there, actually. One of those. I'll figure it out. Nice breeze. These beautiful eucalyptus platycalyx trees. So magnificent. The Australian silk oak. Not an oak, but a Protea family. Proteaceae. There's a lot of red willow here. Predominantly red willow in this area. Pretty nice. Alright. Back into the shadier parts we go. See you on my next clip. Here's a note pay attention whenever you're hiking or walking near or hanging out near eucalyptus trees. Eucalyptus trees are known for branch failure. This branch right here just fell. Luckily I heard the snapping sound and I heard it rustling the crown. So just always be aware of your surroundings. Beautiful place, a peaceful tree grows here. Cut through here. I want to stay in the shade for a while. Yeah, Eucalyptus cladocalyx, sugar gum. I believe this tree is completely endemic to South Australia, the state of South Australia in Australia. I believe it's only naturally found there, but it naturalizes in a lot of our similar climates. We do have a little native flavor here. This is Rhamnus crocea, spiny redberry. But yeah, it's just pretty nice, peaceful Eucalyptus cladocalyx grove. Yeah, this is very beautiful. I'm glad I came back here. Here's a red willow again. Yeah, see if we can find a place to maybe sit down for a little while and kind of mellow out. It's been a while since I've been romping over hills and stuff, so kind of need to get back into that rhythm. This must be what part of South Australia looks like. This is absolutely spectacular, the forest of sugar gum trees. There is an occasional blue gum found in the area. That was a pretty large trunk one up that way, if I remember correctly. But over here, predominantly just beautiful Eucalyptus cladocalyx. And these are magnificent trees. These are some of our largest trees here in San Diego County. And these get larger than, sometimes get larger than our big tall pines and firs up in the mountains. Some of these trees are bigger than those. Yeah, this looks like a nice little urban runoff creek, probably fed by, I'm assuming, irrigation. But yeah, I'm gonna go find me a seat here, get some water, cool off, and just enjoy this peaceful little spot here and get a few pictures in the interim. Yeah, so here I am just sitting on this log and just guzzled a bottle of water. Just here, just enjoying the peaceful vibes of this park. A little narrow strip of eucalyptus woodland mixed together with a lot of native plants as well. Quite a few native plants growing in this vicinity as well. It's just this little tiny rivulet flowing through here, just so satisfying to look and see. And these magnificent Eucalyptus cladocalyx trees. Like I said, you do have to be mindful in case a branch fails and falls. You gotta watch out. What kind of horseweed are we seeing here? This is the non-native. Wait, let me see. I'm trying to see what species this is. I think this is a non-native one. Doesn't have really, I don't know. Yeah, I think this is a non-native one. Sumatrensis or bonariensis. I'm not sure 100% which of the two it is. If they had slightly more radiate flower heads, I'd be looking at canadensis, which is listed as native. And we've got more grapevines back here too. The non-native castor bean that always gets established here. That one there's got huge leaves on it. It's so peaceful down here. There are actually mosquito fish in here. Probably hard to see on camera, but there are actually fish in here. Little mosquito fish. I didn't see any till just now. Probably won't see it too well on camera. I'm just going to try to be careful when I cross it. I don't plunge and squish one by accident. Or those honeybees right there. Let's see if I can walk over this log. There are actually fish in there. Little tiny mosquito fish. You ain't gonna be seeing a rainbow trout. Ain't enough water in there for that, but kind of cool. I didn't expect to see any fish in there. Yeah, it's one thing I remember about this park. Right in the middle is like a miniature box or miniature slot canyon. It's a little miniature slot canyon. There's no real way to get through it without bushwhacking and scrambling over roots and stuff, but who knows, there could be poison oak in there too, but yeah, it's pretty neat. It's just so serene over here. Yeah, these trees are massive. There's a lot of dead ones here too, so if you do come here to kick it, just make sure you don't have a big old tree bowl crashing down on you. Yeah, there's a monster right here. I've seen cladocalax trees with bigger trunks than that, but this thing's got a height. It's probably about 130, 140 feet tall. Ooh, red. Look at that, red dragonflies. Wow, look at that. That's so cool. One of them just flew off. Gotta figure out what species that is. I imagine found some arroyo willow too. Yeah, this is arroyo willow. And since this area is pretty well watered, the leaves are huge on this arroyo willow. Yeah, there's a lot of dried up tree trunks. So just be careful. Just watch out. Just make sure you're paying attention. Wow. Yeah, this is a pretty nice little spot. A lot of watercress grown here too. Ooh, what do we have here? What kind of bird is that? Kind of went off. It was in the wind before I could get a good look at him or her. This is almost surreal. Like I said, I've been to this park before. It's not like I've never been here, but it's such a nice vibe down here. Kind of just exploring this creek bottom area. Just see if I can find more critters too. Love to see more critters. A little smaller arroyo willow. don't know if that's a root shoot or a sapling or a seedling. Here's a little bit deeper pool. Bit of a deeper pool right here. Try to see what other kind of critters I could find hanging around here. There's a lot of mosquito fish. That is crazy. There's a lot of mosquito fish in there. And I think I see a crayfish down at the bottom too, or at least a molting of one. Yeah, red swamp crayfish down there. I don't know if you'll see much on camera because it's kind of hidden under a root. Wow. Pretty cool. Yeah, this is definitely an oasis down here. I might get lucky and see a coarse frog or something. That would really be sick. Haven't seen that in a while. Wow. What a veritable oasis here. Wow, this is exquisitely beautiful. Got a little miniature cascade over the roots of this red willow trunk. This red willow tree. We are just outside the city of El Cajon in a small community called Rancho, San Diego. That is a pretty nice little area. These little parks are definitely cool spaces to stretch your legs and check out some plants and wildlife. It's just almost a monotypic stand, native-wise, monotypic stand of red willow growing all around here. Over here. A little mini cascade trickle. It goes to this gutter here. There's that silk oak I passed before coming down here. Wow. This is so nice. There are a lot of blue damselflies and stuff flying around here too. Those are hard to get on camera because they're so tiny and skinny. Good in the shade of these trees. I don't want to leave the shade of these trees right now either. Yeah, those are the rocks I scrambled up earlier. That's where I kind of did the little sketchy scramble right over there. It's pretty steep getting up there, but pretty interesting. glad I got to a peak finally. All right, start heading up this way. Keep you posted. What else I find? Another cool element of this park and vicinity are a lot of these kind of rugged, wild, most of these are wild growing Mexican fan palms, Washingtonia robusta. They pop up and they naturalize. Now, taking up space from natives, of course, that's the unfortunate thing that has to be realized, but they are very satisfying looking plants. So I'm just going to go cut through this upper portion here. I was down there exploring. That's where I was a few minutes ago, just exploring. And here's one of the big calyx trees right there. That's where I was sitting down on that log right there where I was sitting. Now last time I came here I also went to this spot over here. You can actually see a part of the little slot canyon. Now I think the reason why that slot canyon is there is because of the erosive forces of that creek running through. Pretty sure it occasionally floods and gushes through, and that repeated action is what made it happen. We're actually going to be right above it. There's like a small swing down there. Somebody put a swing there. Yeah, see? Bet you that tree was up here somewhere. That was a massive eucalyptus cladocalyx. And here's another one of those castor beans with absolutely humongous leaves on it. That is crazy. And here we got a little wild stand of Washingtonia robusta. I love how they look when they're wild too, because they just look so rugged. Kind of like our native California fan palms, which is Washingtonia foliifera, you'll find in Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. So let's go ahead and dip down here. I think I went down this way the other time I was here. There was actually more water at that point. There was a Brazilian pepper tree. It's gonna be kind of a low bridge, a lot of bees. I'm good. But yeah, see, you can see the palms are naturalizing here like crazy. Say what you want. I know I'm supposed to be pro-native plant, and I very much am. I love native plants ridiculously much. But I do love these Washingtonia robustas. And there's a massive red willow trunk down there, too. Used to be a much bigger tree. A piece of it broke off. So yeah, we do occasionally get slot canyons. You don't have to go to Anza-Borrego. The last one I visited was Annie's Canyon. If you want to check out that video, that whole day I went through San Elijo Lagoon, Annie's Canyon, and then South Cardiff State Beach. If you want to check that out, you can see me hike through Annie's Canyon, a pretty popularly known slot canyon over in Solana Beach. Oh, look at that. So majestic. So well, this is a slot canyon, but it's actually got water running through it. Probably keeps cutting through even more. All right. Of course, occasionally get one of these, a Canary Islands date palm. Yeah. Those are pretty cool looking plants too. Yep. You get small slot canyons occasionally. Kind of neat to look and check out. All right. Pictures and moving on. I found a grassland golden bush that's starting to open up its flowers. Again, this is Ericameria palmeri variety palmeri. These are little flower heads. It's a sunflower family plant. So you get these small disc florets and very tiny ray florets. It's very hard to see the details on camera, but this is again Ericameria palmeri variety palmeri, grassland golden bush or Palmer's golden bush. This one's starting to bloom. The ones over along the trail on the west side of the park were just forming their buds. But yeah, here we got one here that's starting to bloom. So I think in another week or two, I'm gonna have to come back out here just for a spotlight video. It's definitely worth it. These are incredibly cool shrubs. And I don't see them very often, so when I see them, it's an occasion. So what we got here? Oh, I think, this is a small Chinese pistache. Pistacia chinensis. Huh, interesting. I thought it was a colereteria at first, but no. Pistacia chinensis. Probably a month or so, it's going to be turning scarlet and orange. Yeah. What a beautiful eucalyptus grove here too. Just the beautiful vibe over here. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Spiny redberry. All alone. Yeah, this area. Rancho San Diego, Hamul, Dehesa, whole general area. Quite a bit of cool little enclaves one can go visit. I think I remember this tree from last time. Look at that gorgeous Italian stone pine. Pinus pinea. What a gorgeous tree. That's Western Gypsum weed. Ventura ring. And more Coast Golden Bush. This one is variety Verninoides, Hisocoma menziesi, variety Verninoides. So both variants are here, which is really cool. Look at that. What a beautiful stone pine. That's a gorgeous tree. That is a beauty. What a stunning looking tree. Male broom Baccharis, Baccharis saurothoroides. It's already past its peak flower already. It's crazy. Fall's a good time to see those in bloom. Really nice. Alright, I'll see you on the next clip. humongous eucalyptus trees. Multi-trunked behemoths. Got some huge eucalyptus platycalyx again. Wow. Those multi-trunked monsters. Always a pleasure to see those. Here's a massive one here. These are such awesome trees. I love sugar gums. I've always loved seeing these things. But this just takes it to an astronomically higher level. Look how massive this multi-trunk base is. Look at the girth at the conjunction of all the stems. This thing is a monster. Not like that. It also has some height. I've seen them taller than this one, much taller, but this one does have some girth and height to it. This is a magnificent species of tree. South Australia. Here are the seed capsules that are just opening up to release their seeds. Eucalyptus platycalyx. Here's some old, they call them little seed capsules. They call them gum nuts in Australia. They're not nuts. They're seed capsules. This used to be a Peruvian pepper tree here back in the day. Fortunately, looks like this one passed on. There used to be, like cut the tops off of these Canary Island date palms. And what do we have here? Bamboo? No. But it is in the same family. This is giant reed. Another spider web. Boy. Yeah, this is a Rundodonax, native to the Mediterranean. These things look like bamboos or sugar canes. These things can get up to about 20 feet tall. You see by the stems, they kind of have a bamboo-like appearance. Well, bamboos and sugar canes and these reeds are members of the grass family, the Poaceae. This is just a grass. I made this joke the last time I was around these plants. But these are not grasses you're going to be able to mow with your mower. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. But yeah, a lot of giant reed down here, a lot of young fan palms. This fan palm right here is starting to get big, and we got another pretty decent size of red willow poking out of here too. Looks like it's got a pretty large trunk on it. But again, this thing is massive. I love when eucalyptus trees get like this. And there's one that's about 30 yards away. Another eucalyptus I'm going to show you in a minute. Just look at the giant trunks. This right here is enough to be a decent sized tree on its own. Let's go over and show you another type of eucalyptus. Okay, here's another monster tree here. This time, it's a blue gum, native to Tasmania, I believe Victoria, maybe New South Wales, possibly. And this is Eucalyptus globulus, subspecies globulus. The amazing blue gum. These things can get massive. This is one of the largest trees. I think one of the largest trees in the world. Capable of getting potentially up to 300 feet tall in Tasmania. Yeah, these things can get absolutely humongous. And it ain't autumn without the full bloom of these guys. Western ragweed. Ambrosia coelostachya. There's a nice little patch of it here next to these red willows. Pretty interesting. So yeah, blue gum. I've seen it bigger than this though. Sometimes these trees usually don't achieve the heights of where you'd see them in, say, Victoria or Tasmania, in the cool, humid, temperate forests of that area. But you can see them get to well over 150 feet tall just here in Southern California occasionally. Yeah, what a beautiful tree. This is another multi-trunk tree like that Cladocalix, but its trunks meet in the middle. We got red-tailed hawks flying, a couple of them. There we go. Come on, fly around again. Give him or her a minute. There's one right there. Clearly a Buteo jamaicensis. There are two of them just flying around. Wow, magnificent birds. Those birds get big too. Those are big birds. They're so beautiful. They're the ones you hear in the Western movies that make that loud screeching sound out in the wild to film a scene that's out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, the red-tailed hawks. They're the ones that make those big loud. I can't make that sound with my mouth. Just a really eerie sounding screech. But I don't hear them too often. I see them. Very often. It's one of the most commonly seen major raptor groups in my experience. Yeah, I say blue gum eucalyptus, sorry for the sun. But yeah, this is a massive tree. It's probably about 140 feet tall. I didn't get much taller than that. And here we go. Eucalyptus comodulensis, third species. What do we got here? What kind of walnut tree do we see here? Ooh, got that walnut smell when you rub the leaves. Yeah, this appears to be Juglans californica, Southern California walnut. Not so sure about this one though. I've seen this tree the last time I was here, back in early spring. Ooh, maybe I can get close to it because there's a pathway here. Oh, okay, yeah, because last time it was pretty overgrown over here. I couldn't really see a pathway. But this is a pretty decent sized walnut tree. This one's a little different. Let me see. I don't know, this might still be a Juglans californica. This is a pretty nice sized, pretty nice sized tree. There's another one back there too. And there's a thicket right here. There's another tree size one over there as well. Oh. I'm not sure if this is the same tree. But yeah, we got a small grove of them here. There's one. There are a couple of occasional pecan trees growing in here, which are actually related to these walnuts. They're all in the walnut family, the Juglandaceae. We've got a small walnut grove here. These are more tree size. Usually the Californica is a little smaller and multi-trunked. I guess it's possible. I don't have to go too far. It looks kind of sketchy going down that, but wow, look at this. This is a veritable jungle. Come here later this month. Oh yeah, we're starting to get some fall colors showing up a little bit too. Today is again October 1st. These trees won't really start changing too much until much later in the month. But yeah, they can turn a golden yellow in autumn. The walnut trees. But yeah, look at this. This little ravine down here, walnut trees, and there's the non-native shamel ash right there, of course. Just a jungle of Mexican fan palms. But yeah, these walnut trees are gorgeous. Yeah, I can't wait to see these turn color. This might be Juglans nigra, possibly, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna get a few pictures of this tree and see if I can compare notes. Seems like there are more walnut trees going over towards that way too. So yeah, we got a small walnut grove in here. Walnut trees are so dope. They're such cool trees. Yeah, I'm not sure. This might be Juglans nigra, Juglans regia. I think some of these at least have to be Juglans californica. This could be Juglans californica, just a pretty sizable specimen. I will have to do some research on it, because the leaves are usually smaller on Juglans californica. A lot of those smaller thickets over on that side fit the description a lot more than these. This is actually a medium-sized tree. And there are a couple of medium-sized trees in here. Very impressive, beautiful trees. I remember seeing them when they were leafless here back in late March, before they started leafing out and stuff. Man, that is beautiful. Yeah, they're starting to get some leaf change today. So the leaves are starting to change, starting to turn golden yellow. So there is some leaf change higher up in the crown as well. So in the coming weeks, that tree should be looking pretty nice. Maybe late October, early November, maybe. Oh yeah, I'm glad I was able to explore that a little further. I'm just about back at the trailhead. So I think I made a figure 8 today. Small loop by the peak and a bigger loop over here. This was a fun little outing. I really enjoyed being down in that canyon. So here are more of the shrubbier walnuts here. This looks more like Juglans californica. But again, we'll do some research and see if Calflora has any idea as well. Warm day, but it's definitely beautiful out here. I'm coming up to the end of the road by Calle El Barra. Saw that twig on the ground thinking, whoo, could it be a snake? Nope, it's not a snake. But it'd be cool if it were a snake. There's the peak. There's the peak I climbed. Peak 738. Pretty cool. Alright, well, here's Calle El Barra. Before I go, here's a tree that's not related, stupid of me, a tree that is similar looking to the walnuts, but is not related to it. This is Ailanthus altissima, tree of heaven, or Ailanthus. And these ones are starting to show some sign of change. Sometimes the trees don't change very much in autumn, but where winter or autumn nights get colder, they can turn a pretty nice yellow. So this is where I started the loop here. But yeah, Ailanthus altissima, not related. This is not related to that plant. This is not related to walnuts. All right, enjoy that olive thicket right there. This is where I am parked, right there on the side of Calle Alvaro. That's going to basically do it for my hike today. Thanks for coming along with me. Wish I could have gotten that spotlight video today, but maybe in a week or two, might be getting that spotlight on Palmer's Golden Bush. So until then, I'll see you on my next hiking video, maybe plant video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the way.